Hi, it's James Layton. Today we're going to be talking about the glycemic index. So the glycemic index is essentially the speed at which blood glucose levels rise after eating a particular meal. And one thing to consider, the studies on the glycemic index are done on isolation foods after an overnight fast. So for instance, they'll be eating one particular food, nothing else within that meal after an overnight fast. So that's one thing to consider. So essentially, if you're having, say, fat, fibre and also protein within a meal, which most people do, the glycemic index, the glucose response, is completely blunted. So that's one thing to consider, okay? Second thing to consider, there's always an overlap of nutrients being absorbed from previous meals. So for example, like I just stated, these measurements are done on an overnight fast. Other than your first meal of the day, the rest of the day there's going to be an overlap of nutrients being absorbed from previous meals. Other things to consider, when's it important to you? So for example, if you're a strength trainer, your goals are typically body composition related, you train once per day, your post-workout meal and the typical quote-unquote you need fast digesting, high glycemic carbohydrates, this is ridiculous, okay? Your next training session is more likely going to be over 24 hours or at least 24 hours away. So there's been quite a few studies where they basically measured either high glycemic, low glycemic, post-workout. The 24-hour period, this is where it's important, glycogen resynthesis was exactly the same. So, when might it be important for you? If you're an endurance athlete training twice a day within an 8-hour period, I would suggest having high glycemic carbs in between your first session and second session. That is where speed of glycogen resynthesis is very important. So if you're average individual and you're obsessing over white potatoes, brown potatoes, sweet potatoes, and you're consuming a protein source, fibre, so lots of vegetables and some fat as well, there's no need to worry about it. So I hope that helps. The last thing I want to say is, the last thing is preference. I know even myself at certain times just enjoy something quite sweet post-training. Sometimes you just don't have any hunger to consume a solid meal, and therefore maybe a dextrose, some whey, if it's your preference, but it's not, like I said, it's not necessary, but if that's your preference, and there's a difference between preference and what's actually required. So I hope that's helped. So basically, things to go over. So glycemic index, pretty much irrelevant within a mixed meal. So with fat, some protein, fibre, so vegetables, etc. It doesn't really matter the type of carbohydrate you consume in post-workout. The most important thing is total carbohydrates consumed throughout the day. I think that's pretty much everything, okay? So thank you for watching. I hope you've found this informative. Please help like my channel, share, like on Facebook, etc. Thank you very much. Have a great day.